I understand going back a few generations, you had one son in your family was decapitated.
Absolutely, yeah. He was basically the financial terrorist of his time. He was a freedom fighter in Ireland back in the late 16th century, and basically the O'Byrnes were high kings of Leinster. So we ruled most of the lands around Dublin. Dublin was colonised, and gradually the English colony was expanded out into the countryside, and we gradually retreated up into the Wicklow Mountains, is where we were hiding out.
And which monarch did the deed? Under whose reign?
Queen Elizabeth I. She basically captured him, brought him into the tower, and said, right, if you get
next year is the 100-year anniversary of Irish independence.
Indeed, yeah. So I think there's what's interesting is he basically was told to get down on his knee and renounce his Irish ways, renounce Irish law, and renounce Irish language and everything, and he said he wouldn't do it. So she said, okay, well, if you don't do it, we're going to chop your head off. And he said, okay, fine, chop my head off. So she chopped his head off, and they put his head on a spike as a warning to other people who would go against the crown. And I suppose, we're coming up to our anniversary, and we never actually we got the degree of independence in 1922, but we never got actual economic independence, or more importantly, monetary independence. We were always a vassal of the Bank of England, and more recently we were a vassal of the ECB. So the question is now...
Now, I want you to think about the parallels one can draw between the Queen of England chopping this guy's ancestor's head off for not renouncing and his culture and giving into mainstream or English social norms in this case, and psychiatry trying to drug me until I lose my head for not giving into mainstream social norms and not renouncing my culture. Thank you. I'm a big fan of making this video because I went out of my way to make a video about comparing people who most likely have some sort of a brain damage or some sort of a real cognitive disorder, maybe developmental, with myself, and you can totally see the contrast. But this video is key. Air Force testing lasers on fighter jets. U.S. Air Force. One of the license plates I have is the U.S. Air Force gang stalking me, and they are in charge of directed energy weapons.
Fighter jet laser weapons used to be the stuff of science fiction. Now they're closer to getting real. The U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory told CNN it hopes to demonstrate a fighter jet laser as soon as 2020.
Now, some of you are stupid enough to say, well, they don't have the laser yet. Now, I'm not saying they're using lasers on me, genius. I'm saying that they're covertly testing directed energy weapons. On record, they are covertly testing directed energy weapons, ones that are more impressive than what targeted individuals complain about, the ones that are being used on them.
It really is a national tipping point where we see the technology.
Who's this guy? Kelly Hammett, Chief Engineer, Directed Energy, Air Force Research Laboratory. Now, I'm not going to talk about how his name is a unisex name, or how, his last name resembles the last name of Star Wars, and how, the military in the past, I was supposed to look it up. I apologize. I was going to look it up. There was some kind of Hollywood camera that was used by the military, and they've had a close relationship with them. But anyway.
Evolving and maturing to the stage where it really can be used.
This year, the Air Force, the Pentagon research arm DARPA, and Lockheed Martin successfully tested a laser...
Lockheed Martin. I live in California, not far from Lockheed Martin.
...turret that would allow near supersonic planes to surround themselves with a 360-degree defensive laser shield. The Air Force Lab has already built working lasers that can destroy aircraft from the ground, like this laser shoot-down of an unmanned plane in 2009, which was a precision breakthrough.
Oh, one last thing. My argument isn't that the Air Force is doing this to me. There's a large group of people, large number of groups of doing this to me. All the military have different weapons for covert harassment. All the military groups.
At sea, the U.S. Navy already has an operational laser weapon aboard the USS Ponce.
And intelligence agencies.
But hitting moving targets from a fighter jet flying hundreds of miles an hour is a lot harder. A successful laser weapon can burn through strong materials remarkably fast with virtual silence. Pilots could use it to defend against enemy planes, threats from the ground, and incoming missiles. No need to reload because ammunition is electrical power.
Now, some of you might say something stupid like, well, you know, why would the New World Order, why would the government do this to the American citizens? You know, I could bring up MK Ultra and the Phoenix program and the Monarch program and so on and so forth, COINTELPRO. But it's quite simple. I'll just spell it out for you for the countless time, the umpteenth time. Anyone who's going against the agenda of the American government, if you want to way oversimplify it, it's really the globalists and the people behind the government. But anyway, they will use their technology on. They will take them out by any means necessary. They will neutralize them by any means necessary. It's sad that I still have to spill that out to some people.
Bullets. To be effective, fighter jet lasers will have to be smaller and lighter than ground-based lasers. They'll have to be accurate despite the G-forces, vibrations, and speed that come with air combat. In addition to fighters, the commander of Air Force Special Operations says he wants defensive high-energy lasers aboard huge AC-130J Ghost Rider gunships by 2020. Experts say it'll be the beginning of a new era, as laser weapons are poised to exit science fiction and join missiles, guns, and bombs.
Need I remind you of the oath? I don't know if it's the military oath, the army oath. They say, you know, to protect America from any enemies, foreign and domestic. Now, is America a person? Is America a thing? Or is America an idea that has to do with Western philosophy and cultural imperialism?
In the real world. Tom Patterson, CNN.